What's up, beautiful people? My name is Brandon with Extended Family, and today's conversation, I'm taking it back to a time when I was in Valencia, Spain. I have a conversation with Elvira Montanaña, who was actually my Spanish teacher during my month in Valencia. In this conversation, we discuss Iberico ham, which is very specific to that region, the Batalla de las Flores, Valencian paella and its origins, and a referendum surrounding Países Catalans, which was a very sensitive issue at the time. Subscribe for more conversations like these, where we explore culture through conversations in local communities around the world. With that said, let's get into our conversation, and welcome to your extended family. So first of all, let's cheers. Let's just cheers.
Cheers.
Okay?
Chin chin. Salud.
Salud. So I'm here with Elvira.
Elvira.
How do you say your last name? Elvira.
Well, yeah, Elvira. And well, you know that here in Spain we have two surnames. So Montañana, Smith. Yeah.
And we're at a traditional kind of, this is a Spanish style restaurant, right? I mean, we
Yeah,
have
it is.
jamón, like the Iberico ham, which is very specific to, very, very, very specific to Spain. And we're in Valencia, Spain. And so this is my first time trying it. I have a sandwich. It's not like the traditional Iberico ham, but
No.
but it looks really good. It's really huge. I'm excited to try it. And today we're just going to have lunch and have a conversation about life in Valencia.
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 Very great city.
Elvira has also been, my Spanish teacher for the month, which I'm
Let's see
super
how
excited
you
about.
make it. Yeah,
I know,
okay.
right? And you were kind of scolding me a little bit. You were like, you need to get better. But I was excited and appreciative that you allowed me to use your book,
That's
so that
great.
I could, continue to get better. Because my goal for the year
Yeah.
is really to really improve on my Spanish, but specifically, I want to be able to be conversational. I think by March,
Yeah,
and I think it's possible if I really think.
Yeah, for sure. But you have to study a bit more.
And-
No. You have to make it. No.
Most definitely. So how do I eat this thing?
Well, okay, so
Just like this? Just put it on top?
yeah, you have to put it on top, and then you might cut it. I think so. Yeah.
Like cut it a couple of times?
So because you have to feel every taste, every single part, and
Yeah,
it
because
is.
this is huge.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
44
didn't-
centimeters. So yeah.
I should have
it's like
said
a half meter.
a half. What does they call it? It's not medio.
It's not. Yeah, it's we call it entero.
Entero is the long one, but the half is what?
Yeah, this is the half.
I know, but what do you call it?
Medio.
I was gonna say medio.
Yeah, medio. But the thing is, well, I mean, I have never tried half a meter of bocadillo, as you are doing that. But it's funny, yeah. Okay. You have to try the ham.
And you got the Iberico?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is. I mean, for me, ham is like the best meal in the world. That's why for Spanish people, we hate when it's bad cut because there is a proper way to slice the ham. So you can see the ham. They are with an inclination now, but if you just put it like that, not like that, it has to be like very flat. So if it's some wave, it's bad cut. It has to be just like that. I mean, it's the way
Really?
we cut it. Yeah.
Why?
Well, because if not, it's going to be too thick in some parts, so it's not going to have the proper taste. I mean, like the proper amount of taste. How to say it? So if it's going to be very thick, you're going to. I mean, the taste is going to be salty, and it's not going to be nice. So it's supposed to be like very thin. So it's like that. So here they cut it very well. You know there are competitions and everything. No?
Really?
Yeah, there are.
I didn't know there were competitions.
There are. I mean, lots of competitions. And actually, for example, in my sister's wedding, which was last year, they paid for a guy cutting two hams, but cutting them properly. They paid 1,000 euros for just a couple of hours. But yes, I mean, they are really good paid, but because they are supposed to make the ham to have like a better taste, the proper taste, which is like such an experience. Actually.
Wow.
So yeah, it's such a science. It's kind of a science.
Well, I'm glad you told me that because I've been seeing like the Iberico ham everywhere, but I didn't know it was like, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know it was like so serious. And I've really never seen ham like it. Like it looks almost like beef, the Iberico ham. Like it looks like carpaccio sometimes.
Yeah, it looks like carpaccio, but it's totally different because carpaccio is not curado. Curado means that it has been like drying for a long time. So that's, I mean, when it's curado, it's because it has been drying like for 5 years, 10 years. It depends, and well, or 1 year, 2 years, but it's going to be
Right.
a worse ham. So that's one of the differences.
At the beginning of the month, on our first day here, we went to the flower fight.
Oh yeah, Batalla de las Flores.
And what is it? How do you say it?
Batalla de las Flores.
Batalla de las Flores.
Muy bien.
I remember.
Muy bien.
I remember now. So I have some pictures. I'll show you. But they were throwing like these marigolds, which are like some flowers with a good weight for them. Like little girls are on floats and dressed up, different themes, going around in the stadium. You know, they had a competition, and then all of a sudden, everyone that was watching
Yeah,
started throwing these flowers at the little girls. Las chiquitas, las chiquitas.
well, they were dressed as the typical way, no? I mean, in the typical way in Valencia, as falleras, no?
Or
not?
so there were different themes.
Yeah, the thing is,
There was like a Greek theme. There was like a Indian theme. They had like from different nations. They had themes.
okay, so it was not as I thought. So the thing is, well, in La Batalla de las Flores, well, the traditional way to celebrate it is just that the court of the Fallera Mayor Infantil, which is like the child, like it's supposed to be like the example of what, the model of what a Valencian child should be. It was supposed to be like that, but I mean like lots of years ago. So, and then we have the Fallera Mayor La Fallera Mayor, which is the adult one, the woman. So it's also like the representation about, well, she represents all the Valencian women. Like, so she's supposed to be like, well, of course, very polite, well-known, proper girl, and well, I mean, like you don't need to have a status or something, but okay, so to have some contacts, yes, of course. Well, so it's like you are saying that, well, they are great, and you are like throwing them flowers, and they, well, their defense, like kind of a play. They're like, it's kind of a game, but
It was really funny. It was really funny because
it's nice.
they started throwing, and I'm like,
But I didn't realize actually that now there were people with costumes and everything. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize that part. I didn't. I didn't knew it.
okay. Yeah, it was really funny because it was weird to me that you have grown men. You know, of course, there's other women and children too, but you had men that are like 50 and 60 years old,
Yeah.
like cocking all the way back to throw flowers
Yeah.
at little girls.
Yeah.
And then they had like little tennis rackets. I'm like, you throwing those flowers pretty hard
It is like that. Yeah.
at those girls. So that was really interesting. That was like my first experience, and I was super excited because then I got to try like the grilled maíz.
Maíz.
Yes,
Okay.
you know, like on the grill with little pimienta,
Ah, okay.
like the corn, the grilled corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maíz.
love it.
I really like cone.
I didn't knew it. I mean, I didn't knew it was that great experience to try it.
Well, because I don't know, back home sometimes when we have like our barbecues during holidays during the summertime,
Yeah. Okay.
we'll do that too. But it was
But
really.
it's not the taste. I mean, it's like
No, the
rustic.
taste is good too. I like it. It's just like a grilled corn. It's like, and they do it like all around sometimes like on the beach. They do it on the
Yeah.
beach. Every time I saw one, I almost stop and get it. Like we were riding our bikes on our horchata tour.
Horchata? Did you like it? Because some
Oh.
people loves it and some other
No,
doesn't.
the traditional horchata was really good.
Where weren't you to? I mean, where
It
did
was
you
on
try
a.
it?
I don't know where we're at. I'll have to ask Carlos. But it was on one of our tours, like on our track. We went out into like the country. We rode our bikes down to the. Where's the place that looks like it's Venice, like Plaza de. You know
Like
the
Venice?
little cove. It looks like a little bit like a little Venice. We rode our bikes past there. It's past Playa de Valencia.
Playa Valencia.
A playa.
Yeah, I mean, you mean Malvarrosa, then you have Patacona,
Sí, sí.
then you have Porza Playa, which is Alboraya actually.
Okay.
So, I mean, the place where Horchata was
We're close to
born.
playa.
Yeah, I think so. It's like it has like colored buildings near the beach. Like one which is like kind of a round stuff, like yeah, okay. So that's Porza Playa.
Okay.
It's like 5-6 kilometers from Valencia. Well, from the
From the end.
of Valencia. And yes, so the thing is that's Alboraya, but that's the part on the beach of the city. But if you keep on going to the inside, you'll find Alboraya, which is the place where the horchata was born. Actually, my father comes from a little town near Alboraya, which is called Almácera, and those people, I mean, from those little towns around, they live because of the horchata. It's sweet, but yeah, it's nice. I like it a lot. But
One of the things that I'm also really excited about this month that we did was like we got to experience a lot of things that were really specific to Valencia. Things that were born in Valencia. We got horchata. Right now we're drinking bobal, which is a wine, which is a grape come from specifically from Valencia.
yeah,
We
from
also
the inside.
we also had a paella de Valenciana,
Una paella valenciana.
and that's specifically from Valencia. Like this is like the first time this entire year. So from paella to wine to or horchata, everything's to even the Iberico.
Yeah. Well, but with the Ibéricos, I mean, well, you have other places which are better to dry ham or everything. But of course, with the wine, well, everybody knows La Rioja, which is the best place, or the one which is the known one for making wine and everything. But Valencia is a very good one. It's not going to be too strong. It's going to be like nice, but not too strong, not too low. The flavor, I mean. And actually, you made a very good decision because this red wine is being
It's
great.
really good, right? Tastes
And actually,
good.
with ham, it seems. I mean, it fits really great. Yeah, you made a
you.
good choice. So, and paella valenciana, did you make it? I think you tried to make it or something
No,
like
we
that.
make it.
Okay, how was it?
It was really good.
How many
Like-
hours did you spend?
Too many hours. We spent like actually making the paella maybe a little over an hour because we did it with the chef.
Okay, so he taught you, no? I mean, he taught
We
you
did it
how
in
to
his
do it.
kitchen, and we went to the market. We bought all the ingredients.
To the central market? That's great. I love that experience,
Yeah,
actually.
and then we went. We literally got the chicken. We got the rabbit.
So,
And then we made the paella de Valenciana
you know where where the paella was born, no?
in Valencia.
Actually in a place which is from Valencia, but it's like some kilometers to the south,
Okay.
which is called El Palmar.
Mm.
This place is near the Albufera. You know, the Albufera is like a kind of a lake, a little lake.
Okay.
So it's funny because we have like the sea and then a very slight, place, and then this kind of lake. And yeah, in the side of that part is where the paella was born. And yeah, We can make it with everything. I mean, actually, the thing is, at the beginning, it was supposed to be the food for the poor people. I mean, like for the most humble people. Uh, you are always going to have rice if you are in Valencia because there is the good place to have it. I mean, you know that if you go to the south, the part of the side of Sueca and these kind of places, you will always find rice plantations. So that's why, depending on the place where you eat the paella in Valencia, I mean in the area, you are going to change some ingredients. For example, if you go to the north in the paella, you're going to have, of course, the chicken and the rabbit, and of course this kind of bean which is garrafon, and of course the normal bean.
So the big bean is it kind of looks like a big lima bean.
Yeah,
But
that's garrafon.
got a phone.
So, but for example, in the north, because we have mountain, they are going to put rosemary.
Okay.
So that's going to make tasty the rice. But if you go to, for example, to the side of Sueca, to the south, yeah, in Sueca they add pepper. But if you go to some other places, they are going to add like eggplant, or if you go to Alicante, they are going to add like more stuff. I mean, so some ingredients are changing, but we are a place full of rice, so that's the thing. And then you add whatever you have.
That's really
But
interesting.
yeah, but now it's not like that. Now it's kind of, for example, we have a friend, this crazy with paella, and he hates people that add like chorizo to paella or yeah, things
Why?
like
Because it's not traditional.
yeah, because it's not traditional. I mean, one thing is that you have the main ingredients and you add something which is typical from your area, because of course it's like mixing things in the paella.
Right.
I mean, things that you have in your land. But the other thing is to add whatever to the rice.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Well, that's really interesting. So one thing that I want to get into, and I think before I do it, I'm going to switch off the camera so we get a fresh take. But I want to talk about your story, because you're from Valencia, born and raised, and you have a your family has a really interesting history here, and some other political things that I want to talk about that are currently important to the climate in Spain. So
Yeah.
let's talk. We are back, and this is really nice. It's these bocadillas or bocatas,
Bocatas.
as they're called. Why is there two different names? So bocadillos is sandwich, and then bocatas is like
Yeah,
baguettes.
bocatas is like more in an informal way, but it's the same word. For you can say both of them, but bocatas is like more informal. So when we go to school, for example, in the snack time, and you go to the like when you have this kind of gap, like for a half an hour between classes, we bring one of these, one bocata, wait it there. And the thing is, when I was small, when I was a child, my parents didn't want me to get fat, so I had like nothing, and I was stealing my friends' one. So yeah,
You're stealing your
But it's
friends'
great.
sandwiches?
So, but now when I have one of these, I really enjoy it.
Good. I love them. It's really good. So let's talk about a little bit about your family a little bit. So you are tú eres un abogado. You are a lawyer as well, and I am as well. And that's something that's crazy to me because you've been teaching me Spanish this whole month, and I didn't even know that you were also a lawyer. But I just said that for context. But one thing you told me something yesterday that I think is really interesting. That I wanted to explore a little bit more. So was it about your great grandmother
No.
or your grandmother?
My grandmother.
Okay, tell me the story.
Yeah. So my grandmother was the first catedrátic professor.
She was the first what?
Catedrátic professor. I don't know
what?
if it's the same. Catedrátic. Like when you are a professor, you have like some levels.
Uh-huh.
The highest one. So she was the first one in Spain. Yeah, well, she's a doctor. Actually, when she was in university, there were only 4 women, and sometimes when they were at the classes, when they were going to Spain, some like man sites, like man parts or stuff like that in the body, we were like, okay, girls, go out They were like kind of that. I mean, it was really strange. I mean, they suffered a lot with stuff like that. But yeah, she was great. She has a great brain. She made it, and in the year 69, she became the first woman being a catedratic professor in Spain.
Wow. And so that name, because I'm not interested, the what?
Catedrático in Spanish.
Catedrático. And so that professor is like, maybe, is that like the head professor in a
Yeah,
university?
it's like, well, I mean, it's the one that heads the department.
Okay.
So you have like lots of departments in, for example, in this case in medicine.
Yeah.
So in anatomy, which is her subject,
Yeah.
and my grandfather's subject also. Well, they both, because they were catedrátic, both of them. They were the head of the department. So they rule how to teach to the others, and how the other professors have to teach to the students.
Right.
But the thing is, they have brought like so many books. Actually, one of my grandfather's books is in a library which is in Washington D.C., I think it is, which has like the best medicine books in the history.
Oh, wow.
And one of his books is the fifth. So he's
Wow.
great. I mean, they are great because they are a team. The thing is, the main writer was going to be always my grandfather, because we were with Franco and it was like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was like that in the 60s in Spain. But my grandmother was always with him, working a lot. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So your grandmother made history in Spain, and she's the first woman to reach that level as a professor in medicine. That you have to be pretty proud. That's pretty amazing, right?
Oh, yes, I am. And actually, she has been a great mother, a great grandmother, and everything. I mean, she's wonderful.
And that's on your
She's
mom's
really
side?
beautiful. Sorry?
That's on your mother's side of the family?
Well, yeah, of course, in my mother's side, yeah.
That's super cool. That's
Yeah,
so super
that's
cool.
super cool. And actually, she has also been we have this Royal Academy of Medicine here in Spain.
Okay.
So we have different kinds of members. One of them are forever until they die. But it's something which is really difficult to reach. And also, most of the people which are professors or have like very crazy high goals, they have reached to be a member of the Royal Academy, but it's going to finish, no? When they finish their work or whatever. But there are some fixed members that are going to be always ruling how medicine is going to be in our country. As a science, I mean, not the discipline, I mean, not the application, but as a science, okay? She was so different from women in Spain in that time. She comes from a little town in Granada, in the south of Spain. But her father was a doctor, and she really wanted to be a doctor. She had the support of her family, which was very strange in that moment in Spain, with this kind of profession for a woman. And actually, she had, of course, as everybody in Spain, half of the family in the national side of the Civil War, half in the Republican side. Her father was persecuted by both of them, like because he was a doctor who wanted to help both sides. And my grandfather was her teacher.
Wow.
Well, her professor, yeah. So they were in love, but they were not able to talk between them because it was like,
it was forbidden.
Yeah, it was forbidden. I mean, so, but when they finished, I mean, like being pupil and student and teacher,
right?
They start dating and everything, and then everything came out.
So because of that, that means you mentioned that most of the people in your family are doctors.
Are?
Right? Doctors.
Yeah, they are.
So, but you
and
went
the
a
first
different
one
route.
that cut the
And you became one of the lawyers. So that kind of transitioned into some political things. One thing that I thought was interesting this month that I found out is in October, there's, I guess, a referendum going out.
An illegal referendum.
It's illegal.
Okay, quickly, let's pause for a second and provide some context. As a reminder, This conversation took place in August 2017, ahead of a referendum that was set to take place in October. By now, of course, we know that's already happened, and this controversial vote was for independence in the Catalonia region. This resulted in widespread protests in the region at that time, including some arrests of pro-independence leaders. This fight goes back hundreds of years to varying degrees, and while there's been unsuccessful efforts since then, the call for independence have lessened since that time. In this segment, we gain more context, and you can feel Elvira's emotions as she discusses the issue. Let's get into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's illegal. It's anti-constitutional. It's illegal because we are supposed to vote. I mean, the thing is, in our constitution, we are supposed to, if we are voting about something which is going to affect to the whole country, we have to vote the whole country.
Right.
And we have some, some fundaments to make to make a referendum possible, which are not going to be, they are not applicable to this case, with Catalonia. The thing is, they are always justifying this wondering of independence and everything.
Well, I want to set the scene because I didn't even ask the question so people know what we're talking about. Talking about no, so that people know. So there's a referendum going out for Catalonia, basically, and what their interest is they're putting out a vote only for the people that are in that province. Spain is made up of various provinces. We're currently in the Valencian province, and then Madrid is in its own province, and then Barcelona is a part of Catalonia.
Yeah,
they have their own language, which I call like a dialect of Spanish, but I know they don't see it that way.
Yeah,
They don't see it that way. But so the referendum is for them to vote amongst themselves, and you say a legal referendum, to succeed from Spain, which means they would be their own sovereign nation. But I heard in that proposal they wanted to take part of Valencia, the Valencian province, and part of France.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So that's the thing. They say that Els Països Catalans, that's the name that they want to, and that's how they want to call their own country if they have it one day. So it is formed by all the places that has like kind of variant of this Catalonian, well, you said dialect, but actually it's recognized as a language.
That's crazy to me.
The European
Because it's based in
Union,
Spanish.
but it's kind of different. So that the grammar is different. They have their own grammar. So that's why they have. I mean, for example, Balearic. I mean, the Balearic dialect is not considered a language. Valencian is considered a language. And it's the same with Catalonian. They are because they had this grammar that was written like centuries ago. So that's why we have the choice to be considered a language and not a dialect.
Understood.
But by the way, they are very similar, of course. Catalonian, Valencian, Balearic, and also a kind of dialect which is in the south of France. So that's why they say that Països Catalans must be considered. I mean, must be formed by the southeast of France. El Rosellón is called the region of France, which is supposed to be part of us. Well, of us.
Okay, so the last thing we were talking about was
Països Catalans.
Países Catalans. So you were saying that they were. What about the part from French? You said they felt as though.
The thing is, they say that in the southeast of France, the region called Rosellón in France is called Rosellón. So that part is supposed to be, I mean, they have a dialect as most of the Occitan part of France,
Right.
which is similar to Catalonia. So because of that, it's supposed to be also part of the Països Catalans. And actually, when I was at school, the high school, when we studied, because it's compulsory to study Valencian, but what we study is actually Catalonian. I mean, the grammar and everything is Catalonian. So in the culture part of the book, it was said that Catalonian language. The Catalonian language has so many dialects. One of them is the Rosellón one. Another one is like that in other parts of Catalonia, other parts of Valencia, part of the north of Murcia, which is, I mean, they don't speak Catalonian at all, Balearic, and also one part of Corsica. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. I mean, because if you remember how was, that's my opinion, but if you remember how was, I mean, before being Spain, you had Castilla in the in the Iberic Peninsula, Castilla and also Aragon, and it's like they want the whole Aragon or almost the whole Aragon
Right.
to be like Países Catalans. Not Aragon, I mean, because now we have Aragon, which is a region which is apart, but yes, the east of Spain and this southeast of France and also this part of Corsica. So it doesn't make sense because actually the thing is they are saying Catalonia was a kingdom. Catalonia has never been a kingdom. They say because it was a kingdom, they have the right to be a country on their own. I mean, an independent country again. They have never been a kingdom. They were a county only in Barcelona, and well, I mean, other nobiliary titles, but never a kingdom. So it was not like that.
¿Puedo retirar las cubiertas?
Pues yo voy a terminar un poco con el bocadillo.
Sí, sí, sí.
Sí, para él sí. Gracias. Yo termino y enseguida.
Tranquila, tranquila.
Muchas gracias. So, and the thing is, okay, so they can't say because of that
They weren't a
have
kingdom.
they were not. But you know that in Catalonia, in the public schools, which are paid by the by Catalonia as a region,
Oh wow.
okay. So the thing is, they have all the subjects. All the subjects are in Catalonian, but they have one subject which is Spanish, another which is English, and then history, science, whatever is going to be in Catalonian. So the history is told in that way that, I mean, so it's not going to be objective. They talk them, and I have been living in Barcelona for a year.
Yeah.
They took them to think they were a kingdom, but they were not. I mean, they have never been a kingdom. That's fake. They have never won a war wanting to be a kingdom, or they have never asked even for that in a war
Right.
before.
So what do the people think about? So I understand that you're against it. And I was talking to
Yeah, that's my opinion.
yeah, that's true. And I talked to a friend of mine who's in Madrid,
Uh-huh.
when I was at the game between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona. And his name is David. And David says he's from Madrid as well. And he's against it as well. So do you think is it only Catalonia that is for this succession? And what's the point of it? Because and the reason I say that is because if it's an illegal referendum and it's not going to be recognized by the government, and if the entire country is not voting on it, and it also includes another country which has its own constitution,
You say.
is the point of this just for respect? Is the point of this to say, hey, we have the support of our people. We want you to respect us as in our province and give us certain benefits, or because it's nothing that can ever be put into effect. They don't have their own military.
The thing is, it would never be recognized by the European Union or other countries, of course, if they get it. But the thing is, we had this referendum a couple of years ago. We had it. I mean, they made it, and it was illegal, and it was paid by Spain, not by them, but by Spain, as it is now. I mean, because they asked to Spain the funds to pay that, and they have an amount of money which every year is coming from the state, and they use it as they want, and they are using it for making this votation, this election. So the thing is, a couple of years ago when they did this referendum, the answer was, the answer was, well, okay, only the 60% of the population went to vote there. So that means 40%
Right.
didn't go, sorry. And from the other part, from the other side, the people that went there most of them, I mean, it was because of us. The difference was very slight. I mean, like, I don't remember, like 1 or 2%, but you wouldn't know. So, I mean, we don't want independence in Catalonia. And the
Right.
thing is, if they say they want it, if they want it, it's not going to be because, I mean, it's not going to be the whole population or the majority of the population saying yes. It's going to be just the majority of the people that is going to vote an illegal referendum, because
Right.
the people that goes to vote there are recognizing that that referendum is legal in kind
Right.
of a way, because if you think it's illegal, you're not going to even
Exactly.
vote.
Exactly.
That's it. So, of course, in the rest of Spain, most of the people are going to tell you that, of course, it's one president in Catalonia. But even if you are in Catalonia, you can see that if you talk with people, their grandparents are always from other parts in Spain. Okay, let's admit it. I mean, Catalonia is great because we all made it great. So that's it. I mean, we are a team. Why do they want to go out? I mean, and the thing is, it is not a majority. That's the main thing. Because even when they vote, most of the people is not going to vote, or if they go, I mean, if we are going to make, if we do like the people that has.
That makes perfect sense. So what are they doing it for though? Back to my question. Like, are they doing it just to say like, hey, we have respect? Like, what is the purpose? So what's the
Of course, they want to show that they have the support of people to be independent. But of course, if they get it, I mean, they want.
It'll never happen. It'll never
It's not
happen.
going to be. It's not legal. It's not fair, and it's not the majority, the real majority of population. That's the main idea for me. Because if it is, but it's different than, for example, in Scotland. You know, they made this referendum, and the thing is, Scotland has their own identity, and they have been a kingdom.
Yes.
They became part of the UK in the 18th century. So in 1707. So that's okay. They had their own history before.
Right.
So that's a different question. But in this case, they have never been in, and we have supported them always with everything. So that's like okay. And actually, the movement began at the end of the 19th century. So until then, they didn't want independence. Actually, Andalusia was kind of nationalist, but not Catalonia.
That makes perfect
Estás
sense.
durmiendo.
That makes perfect sense. So those things are like some of the things that I was interested in learning, and they're extremely interesting to me. And of course, I always appreciate you teaching me Spanish this whole month and sharing your time, sharing your story. I've had a great time. I definitely have to come back. I have to hear about how things are progressing. And I also, like, I really want to come back because we've been here in August this month. And in August, some things were closed down because you guys, you're, August is the month where everyone goes to the playa, to the beach. And so it was nice and quiet, but I'm excited to like come back and see like what some other sites are. So
For sure, it's going to be different.
for
Elvira
Ibira Smith Montaña,
Montanaña.
Montañana. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Muchas gracias por aprendiendo.
Enseñar.
No, for teaching.
Enseñar.
Enseñar, aprendo es learn.
Yeah.
Uno, dos, tres. Okay, so I got back home because I realized that I forgot to talk to you about a few things, right? So as we talked about, this entire experience for me and for me was really about intercultural exchange and kind of trying to contribute towards empathetic society in a way that through my conversations with people, through my experiences, that my friends and people that I've met in my life can learn just a little bit more about the world. So as I'm learning, so is everyone else, right? So one of the questions that I always like to ask, and I probably should ask this last, but I'll ask it now, is, in your, I guess, what makes you most passionate about the place that you're from? What makes you prideful about Valencia? What makes you prideful about Spain?
Actually, that's a very difficult question. Because there are so many things. But I think we
It
are
doesn't have to be one thing.
okay. So I think we are uh, sincere, passionate people that wants to experiment life and to enjoy life. And well, in Spain we say no hay que no hay que trabajar para vivir. O sea, no hay que vivir para trabajar, hay que trabajar para vivir. So that's the thing. I mean, like you don't have to. I mean, you work because you need it because you have to live and you need some expenses and everything.
Right.
But that's a way of living, no? So the slow life culture, some people find it's terrible, and sometimes I also find it terrible. But it's nice because it's trying to teach you to okay to live in the present, okay, which is actually really difficult. And I think nowadays it's terrible because we are always watching the WhatsApp, the email, or whatever because we are always in contact with everything but with nothing.
Right.
At the same time. So I like that. I also like that we have our own culture and we are proud of it. But I don't like that. Sometimes it's like we are disappointed. I mean, like we don't feel comfortable with the fact of having a nationality which is being Spanish because of our past. Of course, we had a dictatorship, and well, it is what it is.
Right.
But
I think that's something that's true, like around the world. Like even so, you were speaking towards voting earlier, and when you said 60% of people vote, I think that's a good number. I mean, compared to what's happening in the United States right now, and sometimes in other countries. But as you mentioned, some people don't know their history. But I guess depending on what country you're living in, one of the issues that we have is there's a debate about what our history is. And I think that's similar to what you're talking about in Catalonia in the referendum. You said that, they were never a kingdom, but the history that they teach, their
Yeah.
children is that they were.
yeah.
That's similar to the issues that we have in the United States, and we have an argument about, who really contributed to what is a part of our history, what does our history really mean, and people try to keep out some of the things that are, doesn't favor them as a part of their culture because America's a melting pot. So that's really interesting that you say that.
So one thing, and maybe you are going to, well, okay. But the thing is, why did you move to New York?
Why did I move to New York? I moved to New York because I thought that I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. I had went to Hampton University, which is in Virginia. Then I lived in Atlanta for 4.5 years, and I thought that moving to New York would give me an opportunity to be a part of a very, very diverse environment. So that's intellectually, culturally, and socially. So, and I also know that New York is a place that, it was really kind of known for being like the cream of the crop, whether it's like socially or intellectually, and especially like economically in the job market. So I was like, okay, if I want to be the best, I need to be around people that are, I guess I'd say high producing individuals, and people who are sharp thinkers, people who are from diverse backgrounds that'll stimulate me in different ways that I may have not had experience with. Because where I'm from in Vegas, there's only the main cultures there is there's white people, there's black people, and there's Hispanics. That's it. Basically the main. There's also Filipino and the Asian community, but not as robust. In New York, you have people from everywhere, like everywhere.
That might be crazy, like very interesting. I can't.
So that's why I wanted to move to New York, and so even though New York it's very diverse, even economically, there's people that are very, very poor, there's people that are very, very rich, and per capita, I think New York has the most millionaires in a specific area. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe so. So it's very interesting, and there's a lot of different dynamics there, but that's one of the reasons that I moved there. I guess another question that I would ask you, if it's okay, is what do you think, the two things, what is the best of Valencia? And then what do you think is the things that you would maybe not say the worst, but the things that you would most passionately contribute towards changing in Valencia. Valencia.
Okay. Okay. Well, the most passionate, I think it is that people here in Valencia are humble, are polite, and they just want to be nice with people, with foreigners, and with everything. I mean, I think we are. I think we are nice by nature. I mean, our natural way to be. It is nice. I mean, we want to know more about other countries, about other people, about people from other places. I like that a lot because I have been told that in other places it's not like that. I mean, in my country. The other thing I really like is that we have our own culture and we are very proud of it. The worst thing for me here, okay, I really think it's the educational system, and nowadays that they are trying to, well, they are trying to make this big implantation with the Valencian language in our system, educational system, as it happened with Catalonia. So I don't want my children, if I have in the future, to have like every subject in Valencian, and then have as it happened with my generation when the crisis came. Well, we had to went outside. I mean, to look for a job, and we were not able to speak English, to speak whatever. We were not able to do it because what? Because everybody spent their money in what? Speaking Valencian, speaking Catalan. It's okay to preserve your identity and your traditions, but it can't be like that because we are in a global world.
Yes.
So it's a limitation, and if we have a crisis again, okay, what are we supposed to do? Okay, we don't know how to speak English. We don't know how to speak other languages. We don't know how to work in other countries. We just know Valencian. I don't like that.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for listening to this week's conversation. Here, we believe the best in humanity is realized when we learn from and embrace the differences in each other. That makes us a little more open-minded, more inspired by the people in the world around us, and a step closer towards building that ever-growing extended family.